Hey friends, long time no talk. But in today's video, we're going to be talking all about 5 activities that you can do for Black History Month in your music classroom. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Randy Barton. I'm an elementary music teacher and middle school musical theater teacher in Central Florida. And on this channel, we talk all things musical teacher tips and tricks so that you can help instill an appreciation and love of music into the heart of every child. And so we share all sorts of tips, strategies, lesson plans, all that sort of deal. I've been a little MIA for over the last month, but it's just been a busy time of life, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just going to say this video is going to be really good because it is Black History Month currently, which is one of my favorite times of the year. I mean, you should be celebrating Black history every single part of the year, which I do. I've been a lot better about that, but it's also just a really great time to make sure that you actively are talking about Black musicians and composers and artists and all of these different people that have made really important historical advances in the times. So we're going to talk a little bit about 5 of my favorite activities that I like to do around this time of year for Black History Month, including some African folk songs, some children's books that you can use to tie in musical elements and literature. And if that sounds awesome to you, then make sure to hit like, subscribe, and stick around for more videos. Also, apologize for the lighting. The way that my office is like set up, because I come early to record before I'm on contract hours. There's no perfect place to film this, so you're currently propped up in my like office or closet area with the ring light on this side. So, apologies. We're going to start off, the first 2 are going to be 2 African folk songs that I absolutely love using in my classroom at this time of year, and the first one is Sorida. Sorida is an African folk song or a greeting song from Zimbabwe. It simply means hello, and I like to use it to also teach Sol Mi Do because that's basically all that it is within the pattern. I do have a resource that is going to basically have slides for everything that I'm currently about to explain to you, so I will put it underneath this, but basically the song goes like this. And there are hand motions too, which I will show you the hand motions right now. And these hand motions would be with a partner because, like I said, it is a greeting song. So it goes like this. Sorida, sorida, rida, rida, sorida, sorida, rida, rida, da da da, da da da, rida, rida. Da da da, da da da, rida, rida. And then they repeat the song and do it all over again. So they do each section, they repeat it once. And so the song is super fun. I typically start by singing it to them, asking them what language it's in, and then we talk about how it's from Zimbabwe, which is a country in South Africa. And then I have a bunch of different slides that actually go through like different cultural, historical, like information about Zimbabwe, such as like the flag and what it looks like, and like it's like popular birds and like plants and like food and how they decorate their houses and like all these different things so that they can really understand where this song comes from. And then we talk about the meaning behind the song. We teach the hand signs. And we go through the game, and it's super fun, and like they get to do it with partners, and they love it. And then at the end, we learn, because we're practicing Do right now. I've been using this in about 2nd and 3rd grade. We're practicing Do, and so we're practicing singing it using our hand signs, going sorida, rida, rida. And then once they've practiced with their hand signs, we're able to take it over to the barred instruments because it's super simple. And I typically will throw up the what I call barbaclue, which I got that from Game Plan. It's just the xylophone like on the screen for them, and I will have the notes already marked out, or I'll have some of them. I'll have Sol and Mi marked out, and then I'll say, can you find Do? And then once they find Do, they're able to practice the pattern going Sol, Mi, Do, Mi, Do, Mi, Do, and they're able to practice it and play the entire song. And so the last little bit of it would be half of them will play the music, half of them will do the song, and then they switch so that they are getting a chance to experience being the instrument players, but also actually being the singers. And so it's super fun. It went off without a hitch. My kids absolutely loved it. It's definitely a fun time. I'd probably use it in like 2nd or 3rd grade, depending wherever you are introducing like Do or reviewing Do, but it's super fun. Like I mentioned, I'll put the resource below if you're like, yeah, I want all the slides, give me all the good stuff. But that is the first song, Sorida. Right, the next song that we use, I absolutely love, and it is called Obwisana, and it is an African folk song from Ghana. And so this one I learned forever ago. I can't even remember. I think I learned it in like my college levels, but it's a super, super fun rock passing song, and I'm pretty sure
That translated, it just means something like, the rock has crushed my hand, Grandma. The rock has crushed my hand, which the kids think are super funny. But the song is a rock passing song, so you'd be in a circle to do this, and you're just passing it back and forth. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can pass. I've learned some people say that you just pick it up and pass. Some people say that you have 2 sticks and that you tap together and then pass one. That's whatever you want to do. I start out very simple with my kids because this is used for quarter rest, which means I'm using it with like first and second, and we're not doing anything crazy with passing. It's hard enough to just master this, you know? So I'll typically teach it by going pick up, pass, pick up, pass, pick up, pass, and then I'll add the song, which goes like this. Oh, we sa na sa na na, oh, we sa na sa. Oh, we sa na sa na na, oh, we sa na sa. Oh, we sa na sa na na, oh, we sa na sa. Oh, we sa na sa na na, oh, we sa na sa. And so you can make this into an elimination game if you want, where you have like one colorful stick or one colorful rock, and whichever kid has it on that has to be out. And what out really means is that they just go into the middle of the circle and they restart the game. So the next person that gets out would join them, and then there's like 2 circles going on, and they're still doing the game, but the ones on the outside are like still competing, and the ones on the inside are still getting to do something. So that's always super fun. This one you just use for stick passing. It's a typical stick passing game to help you review steady beat. I also, like with this one, we'll do the same thing as I did with Sorda, where I will sing it, ask them where it's from. We'll talk about how it's from a West African country, Ghana, and then I do the same thing. I like to teach them and show them slides of like where the song is from and stuff, just so they can experience what other cultures look like. If I can find a video clip of kids from that country singing the song, I try to, but it's not always very successful in that regard. But then that's really cool because they're really getting to experience and see how it's different. And we talk about how, for example, in like the earlier one, like Sorda and stuff, like those are like their versions of our hand games. Like, you know, how we're like shame, shame, shame. I don't, you know, like that game. Those are like their versions. Like those are probably songs that they learned growing up. And so like that's just really cool to experience the different cultures. And so then we review quarter rest as always, and then you can introduce quarter rest with this song. You could review quarter rest if either one, and then we just move on from that one. But I love this one. It's a super fun stick passing game, so definitely check it out sometime soon. I actually have an African folk song bundle that actually has both Sorida and Obisana in it, so I will make sure to link that down below. Our third lesson, I do not have an activity or a set of slides for this yet. I'm working on it, but I figured I'd mention it because it's still a super awesome song. It is from Morocco, and it is one more African folk song, and it is called Aram Sam Sam. Now, I use this to introduce canon/round in my class because it's a really easy one that you can have your students do, where they're singing in like singing in either 2-part or 3-part, and it's super easy because they're just repeating the song. It's kind of like singing the row, row, row your boat thing over and over again. And so I will teach the words, but Aram Sam Sam is on your lap. And then Gooly Gooly is this motion. And then Arafi is this motion. And so it goes like this. Ram Sam Sam, Ram Sam Sam, Gooly 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 Gooly, Ram Sam Sam, Ram Sam Sam, Ram Sam Sam, Gooly 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 Gooly, Ram Sam Sam, Arafi, Arafi, Gooly 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 Gooly, Ram Sam Sam, Arafi, Arafi, Gooly 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 Gooly, Ram Sam Sam. And so that one is super fun, and I believe I typically will teach it once at a time, and so like I'll teach the whole thing, and then in order to make it fun on the students, I'll eventually go Gooly 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 Gooly, and then eventually we're doing it all going which I think is super, super fun. So you can break it down like that. But yeah, so you can have them come in at different parts. I typically will have them come in at like this. Ram Sam Sam, Ram Sam Sam, Gooly 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 Goo. So they're going like that. Or you can even make it longer. But it doesn't matter when you have them come in. They can come in at 2 beats, 4 beats, 8 beats. Like if you want to wait until they finished Gooly 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 Ram Sam Sam, and then they'll be together for the second time. But it's pretty easy for them to follow along to, and so I really like that one. Plus, I compare and contrast it with one that I learned. I don't remember where I learned this. I think it's the funniest thing ever. It's the same song, but with fast food, and the kids think it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And that one goes like this.
a Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut, McDonald's, McDonald's, a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut, McDonald's, McDonald's, a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut.
And they think that's hilarious, of course, as it is. And then you're able to do that one with them too, and that's a great extension, or you can do that on another day, but the kids really like this one. And like I said, it's super easy for them to like pick up the canon and rounds from this sort of thing. If you haven't heard of this song before, definitely be sure to check it out. I'm sure you can also find it on the internet. But a Ram Sam Sam is a super fun one that you can start introducing to your kids today. The last two, I believe, are book activities, and I do have a video that specifically talks about 6 books that you can use in the elementary classroom for Black History Month, and this book was mentioned. However, this is one of my favorite lessons. I love teaching it every year, so I figured I'd show it here again, but I will also link to that video down below if you want to see the 6 children's books I use for Black History Month. And this one is Charlie Parker Played Bebop by Chris Rashka. So I typically like to introduce a new Black History Month musician every single week, and so Charlie Parker will be one of these weeks. I use this lesson in kindergarten and first grade, and basically I will read the song to them, and I will have them copy or echo the scatting parts in this. Like, for example, there's this page, let me find it, that has a bunch of scatting on it, which the kids think is funny. It says alphabet, 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 alf, chickadee, 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 chick, overshoes, 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 oh, a reedy footy, reedy footy, reedy footy. And so we'll like do that, and at the end I talk to them and say, what were we doing? And then we talk about how we're scatting, which they've never heard of before, and I'll show them a video of like Ella Fitzgerald or somebody scatting. But then I have a slideshow that goes through and teaches them about jazz. And the first one is this Brain Pop video that I found, and it teaches about jazz, and it's like 3 to 4 minutes long, and they watch that. And then they also found this version on YouTube, this song version of Charlie Parker Played Bebop. It's the same book with music and tons of photos of Charlie Parker interweaved throughout it. It's really awesome. And so they'll go, you just read this to us, and then they'll get to see it as a song and hear the scatting for real, and they think that's super, super cool. And so then after we're done with that, we will sing the song Scat Like That. It's by some musical artist. I don't remember. But it has them saying stuff like twee doo twee doo ba doo ba shoo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba boo lip bop, and like all these stuff. And the kids think it's hilarious. And afterwards, I say, "Oh, you should go home and tell your parents I learned how to scat today," and just start saying silly random words. And then the kids are all like, "Diddle it," you know, like they just think it's hilarious. And then I end with a listening glyph that I made of Charlie Parker that, like, they listen to one of his popular, like, saxophone solo songs, and it's like, color it red if it's only an instrument, and, like, black if you hear singing, and, like, color it blue if it's, like, his shirt blue if it's slow, and, like, green if it's fast, and, like, they color in a listening slide, because I do like to start listening glyphs as early on as I can. But yeah, I think that's a super easy way to introduce like jazz and scatting and all the things in your classroom, and it's super fun, and they love it. So those are some ideas you could use for Charlie Parker Played Bebop. So if you're interested in this lesson, I will also link it down below, along with my entire 6 history lessons that I use for different books in the music classroom. But Charlie Parker Played Bebop is always a hit. And if you're watching this and you already have this, go re-download it, because one of the links was not working anymore, and I changed the scatting video. And then the last activity that you can do with your students, I've literally gotten from a bunch of different music teachers. I believe the ones that I downloaded was Miss King's Music Room. I'll try and link them down below if I can. It's just listening glyphs to different Black History Month musicians. So, like, for example, in her set, she has one where you listen to Get Jiggy With It, I believe, by Will Smith, which is super, super fun. And so, like, you'll just have them listen to different pieces of music, and then depending what level they are, the questions can be harder, like circle this if you hear quarter and eighth notes, circle this if you hear 16th notes, or like circle this if you hear a presto tempo or a largo tempo, or even just soft and loud, depending if you have little kids or big kids. And so that one is super fun as well. And so it is a different way for them to like get to color in class, which they love, but also they're listening to music. And so like they're really having to turn on that more analytical and like processing part of their brain. And I think it's super, super fun. You should definitely stick with it and try out some listening glyphs. So like I said, I will try and link that down below if I can, but those are some different ideas that you could use for the music room. Also popping on here to say, if you're watching this as it's live and you want some of these resources, you might want to wait until tomorrow or the next day, because February 8th and 9th is going to be the TPT site-wide sale where everything is up to 25% off, including any resources that you heard mentioned today. So if you are watching this when this is actually live in 2022 on February 7th, wait one day and get all of the resources for 25% off. You're welcome. And just like that, those are the 5 different ways that you could incorporate music and lessons into your Black History Month music activities. Of course, I have a billion more, but we're going to stick with 5 just for today. I hope this was really helpful and that you are able to take some of these into your classroom immediately to try with your students. Let me know if you have any further questions. Anything that I have resources to, I will link underneath here in case you're wanting to see these more for yourself and see how you can implement these into your classroom and ultimately do less work for yourself. But with that, I got to get to my drink, got to start doing my lesson plans because I am going to be on contract in about 20 minutes. So I love you all, and I will see you guys in the next video.